Hey everyone, I'm back here at IH Cooking Studio today. Today I'm going to show you how to make Palmiers. So Palmiers is a sugar cookie made out of puff pastry. So yes, puff pastry, a lovely versatile pastry dough made of very simple ingredients, and we can make an array of things out of puff pastry. So let's go ahead and see the ingredients that we need for puff pastry. This is a very basic recipe. This has 250 grams of refined flour and the same quantity of butter, some salt, and this is the sugar which we require for making the palmiers. Let's start with the dough. The flour and the salt on the table and some cold water. Just start preparing the dough, and we need a slightly elastic dough so that we can work with it constantly and it can withstand the folding. Knead well until it is a nice soft elastic dough. So always stretch the dough enough so that the gluten gets formed, and it's smooth enough. So the dough is quite smooth now, and we leave it to rest for some time until our butter block is ready to be folded inside. So the dough is nice and elastic, and we can keep it for resting under a cold cloth or even under cling wrap. Just dust some flour and cover with a cold wet cloths. The dough is rested for around 15-20 minutes. You just roll it and apply enough flour, roll it to a rectangular form, and let's put it in the fridge for some time. Have a tray here lined with some greaseproof paper. Just gently, you may want to just apply some flour and cover this, let it rest for a little while. Until then, we get ready to make our butter block. For the butter block, this is the 250 gram butter. Not too soft, not too cold. Take it out all into a big bowl, and we cream it along with some flour. Adding flour just makes it easier to handle when we are folding it into the dough. The butter is creamed, and remove it over some butter paper. Careful to remove all so that there's not much wastage. And what we do here now is just cover it with another sheet and press it slightly. Use the rolling pin to lightly roll out the butter until it's like a thin sheet. Not too thin and not too thick. We put this in the fridge for some time until it cools down a bit, and then we start with the folding. Our puff pastry dough is rested and cooled, and we start with incorporating the butter. The butter is well chilled. Okay, so temperature is a big criteria for having good puff pastry. Alright, so dust some flour onto your rolled out dough. Okay. Here's the cooled butter, so gently we take it. Just lightly remove the paper and put it over the dough. Yeah, if it's too thin, this is what happens, but that's fine. We can adjust that with your spatula. Gently fold in the dough part so that the butter is entirely cased inside, and it's all like one big envelope. Okay, we just lightly dust some more flour and a very gentle pressure. Okay, so if we press too hard, the dough will burst and the butter will pop out, which we don't want as far as possible. We rest this for a few minutes, around 10 to 15 minutes, and then we start giving it the folds and the turns that it needs. Our puff dough is rested and cooled enough. Okay, let's start with the folding. Lightly dust flour. So I'm going to be giving 4 book folds for this puff. And I'll show you exactly what a book fold is. And because we require layers, that's the type of folds we do. Dust the excess flour off, because it discolors the pastry once we cut and make the products. Okay, so it's just and this one. That's the first fold we do, and let's put it back onto the paper for resting for at least 20 minutes to 30 minutes until butter set a bit, and we can start off with the next fold. The dough is set a bit, cooled, relaxed. Roll it. Again, gentle pressure. The same process we repeat. Fold from both the sides and over. Ready to go back into the fridge for another 30 minutes. So we've done the 4 folds of the puff, and we are ready to do the preparation for the final product, which is Palmiers. So I prefer to do it on a silk pad so that it just doesn't stick too much. In case there is no silk pad for you, you can use a parchment paper or also butter paper. Okay. Since sugar releases a little bit of moisture, it just gets easier for us to roll in with the sugar. Otherwise, to handle it gets a bit difficult. So we roll it out, and instead of applying flour, just keep dusting caster sugar. So we rolled it out quite thin, just slightly trimmed, and we just need to roll from both the sides to the center of the dough. Okay. Need to do this a bit quick so that it rolls well. The Palmiers has been rolled and rested in the fridge till it's a little bit hard, and it's ready to cut. So we cut around 1/2 inch thickness. Okay, we can leave it a bit longer in the fridge so that it gets hard. It just gets easier to work with. The Palmiers are cut, arranged onto the silpat. A nice sprinkle of sugar on top as well. The Palmiers are ready to go into the oven. The temperature should be 190 degrees, and we put it for 20 minutes on one side, and once the bottom is caramelized and nice and brown, overturn, flip it, and give it another further 15-20 minutes until they're nice and crispy. So let's go.